And welcome back, everybody, to the Fifth Line podcast. We are back, all four of us, 3 weeks in a row. Good job, gentlemen.
That was some kind of lead up there.
Yeah. I had to get my breath in.
You had to butt right into it.
Oh, yeah. My favorite thing.
Let me finish my thoughts. So anyway, this week, not a whole lot really happened in the hockey world. There were a couple stories, a couple that we're going to talk about. But we're going to start off with an unfortunate situation, an unfortunate story. Well, fortunate and unfortunate. Tiger Woods rolled his car. Fortunately, he was the only one in the car, and he didn't hit another car. So that's like the best thing about the whole thing, is that he didn't hurt anybody else. What he did end up with was a whole bunch of broken bones in his right leg. So they went in through a steel bar, some sort of bar. They threw a bar into his bone to sturdy it up, and then they put some screws and stuff into his ankle, and it's not good. But he's out of all the surgery, and he's alive and gonna make it. So
seems to be okay. Well, that's good news.
Yeah. So that was a weird. We were talking about that at work. And basically, he was on his way to go golf with Drew Brees and Justin Herbert that morning, and he was running late. And then I guess the road that he was on was pretty curvy, so it basically like completely totaled his car. And then a lot of people were like suspecting that it might have had something to do with like drugs or alcohol, or basically alcohol, not drugs, because he's had a past with like alcohol abuse.
It was
when the paramedics got on scene, they basically were like, we had no reason to even look for that because of how coherent the conversation he was having, even though he was in such a bad situation there. So
if you drive fast on a windy road, it's not a good mix.
So his in the car, if you saw, it was like an SUV, so that's got a pretty high center of gravity.
Yeah.
But so I read this book, which is it's just literally from when he was born to like 2018 or something, was like the story of everything. Mm-hmm. And his history was from pain medication. That big crash when like his whole cheating scandal came out was from he was on like pain meds, and he tried to leave the compound and crashed into a tree. Sorry, what were we gonna say?
No, I was just to say the other crappy thing about it is, so like last weekend I was watching the tournament, and they had him on live with the commentators or whatever, and he was basically saying, I've got a little bit of recovery left to get back and ready for the Masters, but he fully was expecting to be able to play that weekend.
Yeah,
because that's coming up in April.
And
obviously, that's not gonna happen now.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he's the defending champ still, correct? No, DJ. I forgot about DJ. But yeah, like Nick said, with everybody that was like the paramedics and everything, just the way he was interacting, they basically said there was no drugs or alcohol or anything involved. So
I think they still tested him, obviously.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Have to, but
I would hope they would. But yeah, so, and he told, or a spokesperson told one of the news outlets, I forgot where I read this, but this is not how he wants his career to end. So we shall have to wait and see if he can come back.
That will be
and his biggest
a long comeback process.
Yeah,
with
and he's
some
already
of the injuries
45
he's
as
had.
well.
Yeah, and didn't he already have, was it back issues?
Back
issues.
He
had back
been
issues.
dealing with for a long time.
Yeah, he said in his interview last week, and that while they were finishing up the tournament, he says, he's like, we only get one back, so he's like, if I'm coming back, it needs to be fully healed and ready to go. So he's got all of that recovery, plus I'm sure he's got some now residual issues coming from this car accident.
Well, hopefully all the best for his recovery, and if he can make a comeback, that'd be great, because he's already made one insane comeback to get that major. Be crazy if he could do it again.
Yeah, because I really want to see him get to Nicholas for major count.
Where's he at?
I think he's at 16, and I think Nicholas is at 19.
Oh.
So he's got to get 4 more to beat him.
I don't know if he's gonna.
I don't think he's gonna be able to.
Yeah,
he hasn't been consistent enough the last
Plus,
5 years.
Like, if you look at the field now, there's just too many good players. Like, Burke's Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Colin Morikawa's coming up. Like,
there's a lot of young guys coming up that are really good. Like, even there's the guy with the funky leg thing.
Oh, Matt Wolff.
Yeah, Matt Wolff.
Xander Schauffele's good loves too. Matt Wolff.
There's the English. There's a guy from England too that was right on Dustin Johnson's tail at the Masters last year.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. He's got long hair.
Oh my god.
I'm not gonna be able to think of it.
Yeah. I always laugh every time I see Bryson DeChambeau's proportions. He's just like,
dude, he's built like a bull.
And then you see him swing a golf club. It's like, it's just, you don't see it very often. Like, you don't see like just
someone that
just
big.
A fucking brick house. Like, it's nuts. But then he can just drive a ball 350 yards.
And it's longer than that. He carries like 410 sometimes.
Jesus.
And it's straight. I'm like, seriously? I can't even get mine to go 200 in the air straight. Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Tiger, hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he comes back, and hopefully he can win at least one more major, because that would be really cool. And now to this. This is like this is going to be our one foray into politics here, and it's not our politics; it's Russian politics. So Artemi Panarin has taken a leave of absence from playing this year, which is just another blow to the New York Rangers, who have already been taking it on the chin. So he's now, Ben, I'm sure you know a little bit more about this than I do, but from what I know, he's been accused of assault of the sexual variety. Is it?
I think it was just assaulting a woman, like
assault?
beating possibly,
Okay.
but
yeah, it was an 18-year-old.
It's not any better, but
no, it's also bad.
I also don't. I'm not putting too much like stock into that report.
Yeah, because of what we're about to talk about.
Because the allegations come from, what was it? Nazarov is the guy's name.
I don't necessarily know that it's so much just what the allegations came from as it is just the situation, because it comes after a few weeks back. Artemi Panarin voiced his support on Instagram of Alexander Navalny, who is right now just a kind of opposition guy to Vladimir Putin. I don't really know the ins and outs of it. My very, very, very general on the surface understanding of the situation is Navalny's been very critical of Putin, of the corruption within the Russian government, in terms of basically they just do whatever Putin likes, and whoever doesn't like him, they just go away.
They disappear.
And Alexander Navalny was recovering in Germany from a nerve gas attack for the last several months. I want to make sure it's Alexander. I think it is.
I believe it is.
But he's been recovering from a nerve gas attack that most of the international community has acknowledged that was probably Russia that did that, because it came after he criticized. And then Russia was basically like, what is this poison you speak of? Like, we didn't do this. And Artemi Panarin then, in the midst of very big protests within Russia, supporting Navalny after he was arrested when he returned to Russia. When in middle of all of that, Artemi Panarin made a social media post in support of Navalny.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of being viewed as a hit piece against him, because he's not in Russia, so there's nothing they can do to him physically.
Yeah.
But they can make his life hell.
Is his family still over there?
That's the dangerous thing. They are.
Yeah. Get his family.
Bring
his family to the U.S.
That's the dangerous part of it all, and I hope that situation will stay okay. But yeah, I can't blame him for wanting to take the rest of the year off, because he kind of incurred the anger of his country's pretty despotic ruler or president. Yeah. Even though he's basically made himself president forever, essentially.
Yeah, it's not a great situation, and I obviously we all wish him the best and hope that he pulls through. And his family also pulls through.
Yeah, Yeah, he's in North America, so he's reasonably safe. But yeah.
So we think.
Yeah, and so that's
hope the best for him.
So that's another hit to the Rangers.
The already struggling Rangers. Take away probably their best forward.
Yeah, it is.
And
best forward.
That's highly unfortunate.
As of right now.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think their most recent big injury was Jacob Trouba. He's out 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, jeez.
Yikes.
So that's probably one of their better D-men. Yeah, I know they have a lot of young guns on D, but yeah, that's really not good. So
the only forward they have left is Chris Kreider, Ben's favorite player.
Dude, he got a hat trick the other night.
I know.
And they still lost the Rangers. They can't buy a win. They can't buy a win. That's crazy.
No.
They can't, dude.
You would think if Kreider's getting a hat trick in a night, they're gonna win that game. But nope.
No.
That's rough.
Yeah. But that was it for different topics, boys. See, what did I say? We're gonna breeze through this.
Breezing through it, eh?
Yeah.
So we're
up. We're not gonna talk about the Habs firing their coach, or did you want to?
Yeah,
include that in the
I figured
divisional?
we'd get to that. I figured we'd get to that later. Well, let's talk about it now since you brought it up.
Okay. I never thought it would actually happen.
But you called it last week.
You did call it.
I did, and I'm mad I didn't do it during the podcast. I literally did it in the 20 minutes after as we were talking.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, I didn't. I was literally like, yeah, it seems like it's time for them to move on from Claude and Kirk because, Kirk Muller's been a power play coach for the last 5 years, and they have consistently been in the bottom 5 of the league for the last 5 years, and he's literally the power play specialist. I can see people arguing Claude Julien keeping his job in certain ways, whatever you like a coach for whatever reasons, but there's no reason Kirk Muller should have stayed. He's literally he seems to be a great guy, but his job is as an assistant. His specialization is power play, and it's done nothing for 5 years.
What's funny about it too, Ben. I know you called it, and that was the reason I brought it up. So I was talking to Nick at work, and I said, Ben's calling that Claude Julien gets fired, and he's like, "No way!" I was like, "He said it happened to Therrien back a few years ago, and they were having a good season then, and it was a shorter stint for Therrien."
Yeah, they were in first place in the division when Therrien got fired, but they were. I think they were 2-5 and 2 in the last 10 prior, and you could have just clearly see that he had lost the room, and that's where that came into play. But then I also got right the Ducharme thing. I didn't know if it made sense in the sense that in a year where it's very difficult to get an employee to your team quickly, you can't really go outside of whoever's already there.
Yeah. And
then of the assistants there, he was the one that made the most sense. And also in the sense that he has done a lot with younger players at a junior level and then in the World Juniors. And the Habs are a team right now that are going to be, no matter what, are going to be depending heavily on younger players that are just kind of coming into the league. So they could use maybe a coach that's going to be good at talking to them and kind of guiding them on how to adapt.
Did you see the Bergevin interview?
I didn't see it, but I read many a different quotes from it and just kind of got a lot of his general answers from everything.
Yeah, he basically, I watched it for a little bit. He basically said he's seeing consistent he was seeing consistent patterns with Claude.
Yeah.
And he was just he was like, we're not seeing anything different, and they're not performing the way they should be, and he's not getting what he needs to get out of them. So he's had to make a change.
Well, it's because the Habs had 2 8-game losing streaks last year. The most frustrating thing about being a Habs fan last year was that they very easily could not have been 24th place. Very, very easily. The amount of games they just threw away in dumb ways, they'd go into a third with 2 goals up and they'd find ways to just fuck it up somehow. They didn't and it was the same way the year before, although they did a little bit better in 2018-19. They actually were very, very close to the playoffs, but if they had thrown away a few games against near the bottom Anaheim that year and in the Red Wings too, I think the year before, they did really badly against the Red Wings for 2 years in a row somehow. But you saw all of that, the play of their worst moments of the last few years is exactly how they're playing right now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
And
so
that's
good move,
what everybody on Habs Twitter was just being like, yeah, it's bad. They're not going to change unless, because like I still need Ducharme to make Sherratt and Edmondson not both be in the top 4. You can have one. That's it. They cannot both be in the top 4. They can't. They're not capable of it. Sherratt and Shea Weber as a pairing.
That's 2 pretty slow dudes, eh?
I mean, they had moments towards the end of last season and sort of in the bubble playoffs, but they can't defend a thing right now. Like, I don't know what it is, but like it's not working. Shea Weber is still good, but he needs somebody more mobile with him right now. It needs to happen. I don't care who it is. It needs to be somebody. No, they can't have. No, that's too much of all of their defensive. Like that's too much of their. Yeah, it's too much of their defensive core on one pairing. They can't afford to do that.
Interesting.
I would really, really like to see, because Jeff Petrie has been the Canadiens' best defenseman for
several
years now.
I think this year he's been the best defenseman in the Canadian division, at least, I'd say.
That needs to be a him and Brett Kulak pairing is what I want as a top pairing. That is my dream top pairing. So Dominic Ducharme, if you're listening, do that. Yeah, because I know things. That's why I'm on a podcast with like 20 subscribers.
Yeah, that's right. 19. We're almost there.
We're almost.
Wait, Ben. So you want a Weber Kulak top pair?
No. I want a Petrie Kulak.
Oh, Petrie. Oh, okay.
They need to admit that Jeff Petrie
second pairing.
I could.
Okay.
I would even take that. I would prefer him to get one of Romanov or Mete, but I know that's never going to happen because they're not going to use both of them in the lineup. Just because I don't know why. They just won't. They've literally, through all of the shit that's been happening, Claude, the only changes he ever made would be he would swap out a forward or two on the 4th line, or he would either sit one of Brett Kulak or Victor Mete on the 3rd pairing. Totally big sweeping changes that'll have a huge effect on how your team's playing, right? Changing your 3rd pairing up or just changing the periphery of the 4th line, that'll certainly fix them getting out of their funk. But no, it's been bad.
How many games have they had with this new guy? Couple?
Just the one. It was just that one, and they're playing in 8 minutes.
Did you see anything different in the first game? Or no?
Yes, I did like parts of the first game.
It's tough too because it's not gonna.
I mean, yeah, you're coming in first game. You're not going to be able to do all of the different things you want to. You're not going to be able to get everything into place in one game when they had one morning skate before it. Like, no matter what coach you are, it's not going to happen in that timeline.
We ask you this question next week and you'll have a better answer. So.
Yes. But from the last game, what I did see that I did like, for one, I know he had coached Jonathan Drouin before in juniors, in his best years in juniors with Halifax, and when he won a Memorial Cup. He's very familiar with Drouin. And of the players that played on Thursday, I think Jonathan Drouin was the strongest one. And that's been the one shocking thing for me this year is I have nothing bad to say about Jonathan Drouin. It's a pleasant surprise.
Interesting.
But
it's just too bad he isn't scoring
I mean, he has a few goals, but he's been setting up every fucking buddy. Like, he's been an assist man this year, and he's been good. Like, I have nothing to complain about. It's been really nice because it's the first time that he's been consistently that.
Yeah, he kind of
went gotten
there
to Montreal.
He kind of went there and chatted a bit.
Well, they threw him into another. What was that?
I was moving the chair closer.
Oh, I mean, they threw him into an untenable situation when he got there. That wasn't a lot of what happened. Wasn't really his fault. But what I was saying was with Ducharme is so far through in their play, he's letting them be a lot freer offensively from the one game I saw anyway than Julien was. And I think he's going to be a lot less afraid to make lineup decisions. I think he was not going to come in game one and just change all the D pairings and just you're not going to get any trust out of the room. But if you can kind of let some things play out, first game didn't go awesome for a lot of pairings. And like,
well, what are they going to do? They're not going to fire him. They're not going to fire 2 coaches in a season.
Right. So like, he needs to kind of I think he just needs to kind of give it a little time for him to sort of work some changes in, because literally it's been 1 game. And I think after tonight, they have 2 days off before a game against Ottawa. If there's going to be any kind of like significant,
they're going to lose.
Hey, yeah, maybe. But if there's going to be any kind of significant lineup changes, it'll probably happen in that 2-day window. Because they'll probably get at least a practice or 2 in that window, and it'll just be some time to kind of maybe think and maybe readjust some guys, and then you get a game against Ottawa. And
yeah,
I don't know what happened to the team that was at the beginning of the season, but
let's talk about Ottawa. They have won. They won 3 straight this past week.
Until tonight.
Dose against the Canadiens, and then 1 against Calgary, and then they lost today against Calgary. But actually,
they smacked Calgary.
Yeah, stomping.
They did.
The Flames.
But
6-1.
in Calgary's defense, they had their backup goalie because Markstrom's out. But still,
who's their backup goalie?
Calgary's a bit.
Oh, big save, Dave.
I think we're
not big save, Dave. For anyone who saw that neutral zone goal from
that was
who's that? Who's the
that was Brandstrom.
Brandstrom, that's it. I couldn't think of it.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
I think they're just kind of finally getting around to being a bit of what we thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year, because we always kind of thought they were going to probably not do great, but we're going to be able to put up a pretty good fight and keep themselves in games that.
You're talking about Ottawa.
Yes, that's what. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're kind of just sort of coming around to that, and I think the fact that they're getting a single solitary ounce of competent goaltending helps.
Yeah, it does. Definitely.
They're kind of getting that. But what have you been seeing, Nick?
Yeah, everything you're saying in it. all those young forwards are finally like meshing. Like, I mean, Brady Tkachuk's probably their most consistent forward.
He's doing some shit.
From scoring, but watching like Drake Batterson passing around, like those guys are flying around on the ice, and they're all like under 23.
I will say, like, that's a fun team to watch.
Like, watching Josh Norris and Tim Stützle on the same line, like when those guys are out there at the same time, it's just like it's crazy,
dude.
It's a bunch of young kids on a team with 0 expectations that are just getting to do whatever the hell they want. And sometimes that works.
Tim Stützle is fun. So fun to watch. The way he moves and like the little jukes he'll make and like
it's just the things he does. Like did you watch the Canadian shootout the other night? They sent him out. Nice. It was just like he did it like he wasn't even trying.
Some people have.
I mean, a lot of guys are scoring on Carey Price right now, like they're not even trying. That's the problem. But
yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah. No,
the biggest thing.
I think their biggest issue is defense. And
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Obviously, like Shabbat's gonna do what he's gonna do, and he's more of like a forward-heavy defenseman, like Carlson was.
He's not an offensive guy.
He's not like a Duncan Keith who sits back in his own zone and just defends.
Ryan McDonough.
He's competent though. Like he can do it.
He's good. I'm not saying he's not, but their issue is like after him, there isn't a lot.
I'm missing a little
like
bit
there. Who's the other guy? The one that got the OT winner that one game.
Zub.
Yeah.
Oh, Zub. What an awesome name.
It's a good last name.
Zub.
Yeah. They're pretty thin on the back end, and like Brandstrom's okay, but he's not great.
They want to get. I mean, he's just getting into the league, and defenders often take a good bit, so that's not that crazy. I think he'll still be good.
I think if they go out and get a little bit of help on defense, Jesus,
they definitely could use that. Yeah.
Because that'll help Murray too. So.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, you got to do like the thing that all like Columbus, New York, all these the Islanders, like all these teams that force shots to the outside. You've got to do a really good job of that because the Lightning have actually started to do that more, and it helps a lot.
I will say though, I don't know if that playoff bubble series against Pittsburgh, it might be coming back around to bite the Habs. Because Matt fucking Murray, sure, he's ass in every other game, but every game he's played against the Habs this year, he just goes fucking nuts. and I'm getting a little annoyed at it. I'm like, are you that mad, dude? Come on.
He's real angry. He's gonna take revenge on you every time he can.
It's annoying.
Well, Ben, you know Matt Murray watches this podcast, right? You heard what you.
I'm sure.
You said about him.
You heard me just trashing his fucking
Matt Murray.
ass, so he's like, yeah, fuck you, bud.
Good job.
Keep it up.
All right. Let's let's go to East. Let's keep it rolling. Let's go to the East, Eric. How's the East looking?
Oh, the East. It's so the Islanders just lost to Pittsburgh in OT. As
dang.
this episode is happening, yeah.
Did Malkin do anything? Sorry.
For
Probably
fantasy. Yeah. Oh wait, are you guys going to talk about fantasy?
We did, yeah.
We will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crosby had a goal and an
assist.
assist.
All right. Anyway, Eric, the Islanders.
Yeah, freaking Crosby. Yeah, but the East looks as kind of as expected, but also there have been some changes. The Caps are now the first place team. And behind them are the Bruins, the Islanders, and the Flyers, which I've been watching the Islanders a decent amount. And they just had their big 7-2 win against the Bruins, which was just crazy. They just couldn't stop scoring. And to be fair, for Bruins fans, Halak was in. They weren't starting Rask, and Halak just had a terrible third period. Granted, the Islanders were generating a lot of chances and definitely outplaying the Bruins. But yeah, it just was not a good look for them. And then I think the following night, the Rangers beat the Bruins 6-2. So the Bruins are coming off of two pretty bad losses. Still in second place.
What was that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Where did
Especially
that
like
come
the Rangers.
From? Yeah.
We just talked about how the Rangers are.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
They smoked the Bruins.
Was that last night? Yeah, because you were talking as we were playing zombies, right?
It was last night. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah, very weird. But yeah, and so your top four, it's again the Capitals, the Bruins, the Islanders, and the Flyers, and just outside of that 4 spot, 5 and 6 are Pittsburgh and the Rangers, which is kind of interesting. So I guess the Rangers, again, right? The 4 spots are just super up for grabs. So
well,
I think that'll fluctuate a lot. I don't know.
The Rangers, so the Pittsburgh is tied for 4th points wise.
Yeah. With 23.
Yeah. Nick, what are you doing?
I think it was my feet on the chair.
The Rangers are right behind Pittsburgh, but in the standings, but they are 5 points. No, 6 points. They're 6 points back. So
6 points.
So they're there, but
I know. Shortened season, right? They got to do something soon.
Yeah, and then there's
so pretty much as I expected though. I don't know. The Flyers
pretty expected.
Yeah, the Flyers though haven't been playing too well recently. I thought, right? I don't know. It seems like every time. I don't know if anyone here has been keeping up with Philly that much, but I know they got blown out by Boston.
They did. Yeah, that was not good. Well, they're on a 2-win streak currently, and they're 6-2-2 in the last 10. So they're still doing fairly strong.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I mean, I looked at it today because what I do before every podcast is I go division by division and I write down stuff that surprises me. And I got to the East and I looked at it and I was like, none of this surprises me. So I have nothing written down sense. There. Yeah.
Okay, but how is Buffalo still this bad?
That's fair.
I think I think there's something in the Buffalo water. I think they need to ship some Poland Spring in there.
Like,
I don't
see if that helps.
But in the same vein as we were talking about McDavid, like, how long does Jake Eichel? Yeah, Jake Eichel.
Jake Eichel, his younger brother.
Stick around for this shit.
Yeah.
Not long. But here's actually a funny little tidbit. I'll tell you why they're doing this bad. There is $27 million between 3 players, and altogether those 3 players have a total of 3 goals. Would you like to guess those players?
Jeff Skinner.
Jeff Skinner's got to be one of them, yeah.
He is one of them.
It's Jeff Skinner, Taylor Hall, and Jack Eichel.
Poso.
No. It is Jeff Skinner, Taylor Hall, and Jack Eichel.
I knew Taylor Hall was doing terribly. I didn't know Jack Eichel was doing that.
Taylor Hall, to be fair, Taylor Hall has 11 assists. So he's been throwing some helpers out there. But
yeah, So,
But I don't think they got him to get assists.
No, they did not pay him $8 million
No.
to have one goal.
So,
I
yeah,
don't think.
So
they didn't pay Jeff Skinner $8 million to scratch him like 4 games in a row either. So.
9. He's got 9.
Sounds like it's just.
He's got 9.
So that from what that situation sounds like, it seems like Ralph Kruger just doesn't like him. Like
I think he probably doesn't like him because he
just
doesn't do jack.
Doesn't like him.
He hasn't done shit in 3 years.
Okay,
How
well
long has he been there?
you have a guy.
Okay. He did good his first year, and he sucked last year, and he sucks again this year.
Okay, awesome. You have him for $9 million a year for the next what is it, like 4 or 5 years?
Oh,
Better figure out a way to make him useful because nobody's taking that. So
it's the same thing it's the same kind of deal that the Senators run with Bobby Ryan. Granted, it's more money, but he had like one decent year with Ottawa, then sucked and sucked and sucked and sucked and sucked, and I had feeling like this is deja vu again.
I also don't know that Jeff Skinner's just like I feel like he's not just bad now. Like
no,
I
think he can come
you
back.
could figure it out.
Either.
I think you could figure it out and like actually make it because you're paying him $9 million a year. Make him useful.
Okay, so here's my thing. All right.
Clearly, they're not utilizing him the right way, right?
No, because here's the thing. Here's my thing, gentlemen.
What is it?
I think that Buffalo is just not a fun environment, and it breeds just terribleness. Like,
I mean, I think you can fix that though. Like you did,
I
like a
think
team
so
is not
too, but I don't-
untraceable.
They're trying. They have 3 good players, and Risto's good, and they got some young good guys coming up. It's like
they
should be better.
Their team on paper should be better. Yeah, I think Jeff Skinner I think Jeff Skinner will get better in the future. I don't think it's with Buffalo. I think he gets shipped out. They retain some of the salary, and
Even then, though,
that's the only
if
thing
you're
I see
gonna
them
do
doing.
that, you
got to do it now.
Even on retained salary, if you're gonna do that, you have to play him and show people that he can actually still do things. You cannot scratch him for 10 games and then try to trade him and be like, oh yeah, well it's a $9 million contract. You're still going to take 5.5, right? No, nobody's going to do that.
You know why?
Wait a second. They've played 20 games. They've scratched him half of the games this season.
No.
How many did you say it was? 9 or 10?
It's not. Is it 9 or 10? I didn't think it was that.
Oh
many.
no, you were saying $1 million a year, weren't you? I thought you were.
It was $9 million a year. Yeah. But no.
I'm pretty sure it's like only like 3 or 4.
3. He's been scratched 3 games, I believe, and this is what I think it is. And this was on the 31 Thoughts podcast. He has a full no move clause. So what Friedman said on 31 Thoughts was he thinks that's the GM/coach scratching him, trying to give him the hint like, hey, give us some teams. All right, give us some teams to try and deal you.
Okay,
which it could be. I don't think it's gonna work. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, nobody in a flat cap. Maybe, but in a flat cap right now for like the next couple of years, and where everybody's pretty much all paying what they can pay right now. Like nobody's got money. Nobody's gonna take him. You're not gonna get a trade for him. So use him because you're paying him $9 million.
Figure out a way to use him anyway, or be like, listen, if you're not gonna perform, you're gonna grind on the 4th line, like.
Well, that's
what
he was.
Would also argue that you're not going to get him to do anything if you don't like. He's Jeff Skinner.
You don't play him with someone.
You play him with a decent.
Someone.
Yeah, you got to play him with someone that he can actually play off of and do offensive things.
I would like to see him with. Man, you know who's hot over there? Olofsson. Olofsson's been having a year.
Yeah, well, he just murders on the power play.
He does.
Yeah.
Oh man, he does.
Yeah.
But even regardless, like.
Let him do
as much as we're saying how bad Skinner's playing, Eichel shouldn't have 1 goal. Yeah. Taylor Hall shouldn't have 1 goal, and that's not Jeff Skinner's fault.
Old Halsey has 2, I think.
Oh, he got a second one. Good for him.
But yeah, you are totally correct. We're sitting here ripping on Jeff Skinner. Those other 2 dudes should be doing more too.
Yeah. That's because
I'm pretty sure Eichel doesn't have more than like 9 assists.
No, he's not doing great.
I think he was like 1-9 before I dropped him.
It's unfortunate, you know. It's unfortunate, but you know, someday they'll go the way of the Bills and they'll make it a decent way. Hope
They got to get a goalie. They got to start with a goalie and then build from there.
It really comes back to the whole Edmonton problem too, doesn't it? Like, you really didn't do anything.
Goalie, yeah.
You really didn't do anything.
The goalie garden market.
The amount of goalies that were on the market last summer, or not summer, fall
time,
because weird off season, but like, and you didn't do anything.
Imagine they had grabbed Matt Murray.
Or just any of the like several significant goalies that were.
Or if they could have just like,
I know there was a bunch.
They could have gotten like Holtby or somebody.
Oh yeah, Holtby would have been okay.
Like even like I know he hasn't been doing awesome in Vancouver, but counterpoint, nobody's been doing awesome in Vancouver.
No, they haven't.
But like even he would have been probably better. Like there were so many options.
There were quite a few.
I'm surprised they're not talking with like somebody like. And I'm sure they're not going to give him up. Like maybe Montreal or like Toronto to try and get one of the backups there. Because like those guys are playing good, but they're not going to deal him.
No way in hell they're trading Jake Allen right now. Carey Price's ass.
Yeah. Try and trade Carey Price.
or like Vancouver or not Vancouver. I'm sorry, Vegas to see if they can get.
That would I think they of any of the teams
because like Leonard's not playing that good this year.
Yeah. I mean, and I still think Leonard's somebody who's worth like. Oh, yeah.
But Leonard's been in Buffalo before, and he didn't really pan out there either.
He did not make it in Buffalo. That is true.
But Leonard had all of his like mental shit going on.
He was Buffalo, that was his era of unfortunateness.
Yeah.
Before we move on from that goalie situation, I just want to say, Linus Ullmark, whatever his name is, right? Buffalo's, I guess, backup goalie. Has not been doing that terribly this season. It seems like every time I watch, he's so if you can get again, like you guys said, but you need like a number one. He's a great number two. Sorry, Carter Hutton. You're just yeah. You're not.
I think we can give up on Carter Hutton at this point.
Yeah,
like there was a one. I'm sure it was like maybe.
Eric, what were you saying, Eric?
Ullmark though. Yeah, no, he's at least, I don't know, from what I see again and watching Sabres highlights occasionally, he's at least keeping them in games.
Oh shit, yeah, he's got a 919.
Yeah, see,
he does pretty good. He's got a pretty good little stat.
Ben, what's Huttons?
What?
Oh god.
Oh yeah, what's Huttons?
Oh god, don't look.
I don't know if I want to look at that. Let me see.
What's price?
Carter Hutton. It's sub 900. Yeah, it's
pretty
bad.
rough, dude.
Yeah, it's not good.
I can't believe I drafted him first. Or second. Yeah. I drafted him second in the fantasy draft. I got rid of him. Ben picked him up, I think.
I have him. I still believe in him, but Carter Hutton is currently sitting at 896. I'm not positive on that carry pricing. I think it is sub 900. I'm gonna look.
896 isn't. I mean, it's not good, but that's better than I thought it would be.
I'm surprised it's not like 8.8.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be at least under 8.9.
Oh, he's not that bad.
He's not that good,
dude. They
8.96. That's 0.06 of a percentage point.
They have just as many points this season as the Senators. They're not good.
Well, no. Guess what Carey Price's save percentage is?
893.
901.
Okay. Eric?
885.
Ooh.
I think Eric wins it. Price is Right rules. Because it's 888.
Wow. He's worse. He's got a worse save percentage than Carter Hutton.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's not good.
I think he is the new backup. I think Jake Allen has taken his role.
Actually, I'm not going to say that, but
I'm gonna say
I know Jake Allen's. I think is pretty good. Let me look.
Well, who's starting tonight?
Yeah,
Jake Allen is starting tonight.
Ooh.
So
they've also just been splitting. Oh yeah, just before Jake Allen. Guess what he's at this season? In 7 games played with 4 wins.
912.
912. Okay.
927.
Okay.
Damn, you think he's a monster?
And Eric?
I'm gonna say 931.
Oh my days!
Yeah.
Eric wins again.
What the frig?
Eric 932. 932.
Eric has unfair advantage because of his goalie background.
What do I win? Do I win any?
A crisp high five. Put it up to the camera. There you go.
You win a Montreal bagel.
Yeah,
we can finally meet again.
In 6 months, you win a Montreal bagel.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, that's real bad. Carey's got a fucking I don't know what, but it's not good.
What if the situation, Ben, is that he needs to play a lot to
I'm beginning to think that is the case, yes. Although, again, I'm going to revert back to literally every time he ever starts a season, the first 2 months are a wash, which you could also
2
argue.
months? Frickin' A! I think you need a goalie before then. Jesus.
That's where you're at now with him. It's been the case. Like, he's consistently had bad Octobers at least, and then kind of struggled into November, and then kind of like figured it out. This year,
the only difference is it's shorter.
There's not that runway.
It's half the season.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's not good.
That's interesting.
But like it just the duality of being a Carey Price fan is watch him do this, and then you watch him in the fucking bubble and just doing the shit I'm just like he just confuses me is all. Like I'm just.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Anyway, I'm gonna talk about my Lightning.
Go for it.
Oh yeah.
All right. So the Lightning. If you'll remember, in the last episode, I was not wearing a Lightning jersey, and I said they had to earn my love back. And they did. They have not lost since.
They listened to your strong words.
They did, yep. They are on a four-game win streak. They beat Carolina 3 times, and just tonight, in a rematch of the Stanley Cup Final, they blank the Stars 5-0.
They put a whooping on them.
They bent them over.
Khudobin had 5 goals and 12 shots or something like that?
Khudobin had 5 goals against in, I believe, 17 shots, because I think he had 5. I think for you, Nick, he had 5 goals against and 12 saves. So they did end up yanking him towards the end there. But yeah. They're now first in the Central Division. They just jumped ahead of Florida, I believe. Yep. 19 games played, both of them. Lightning are 14-4-1. So they're doing their thing. And also, I just see, I believe they have the highest plus-minus or goal differential in the league. Yep, plus 30.
My goodness, they be scoring. Yep. But yeah, it's the Lightning. So
yep, two back-to-back, also 2 back-to-back shutouts from Vasi.
That'll do it. Although, Jesus, how much are they playing him?
They play him a lot. They had Vasi played tonight and Wednesday, and then Thursday McElhinney played.
Okay.
So McElhinney did. He had a couple days of rest there. They play him a lot, but he also likes to play a lot, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, getting back to that might be the case in Montreal. Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, do you remember 2018, 2019? I think Domingue played 20 games.
Oh
maybe,
yeah.
And Vasi played the other 50, and they had what did they 62 wins they ended with?
I think it was 62 wins. Yeah, it was nutty. That was, but again, that might have sealed their doom.
It might have. That was unfortunate. And remember, they're doing all this without Cooch.
Without Cooch, that is true.
Yeah.
I forgot about Sorry, Cooch. I forgot about
Am I correct in saying he would be back for playoffs? That is the case, right? He's that's what back. Everybody's saying that he should be.
Yep.
What are they going to do? Because they have a cap situation that they have to deal with before it comes
doesn't
back.
count after playoffs. I think it's
trade deadline.
What are the rules? It might be, something like that. It won't matter.
That's
basically.
bullshit.
There's a reason. I think it's after trade deadline
that
it doesn't get instituted. I don't remember.
Lucky for you guys.
I don't remember.
Well, they got to deal with it at some point anyway. They'll have to deal with it next year.
They'll have to deal with it in the offseason.
They will, yeah. And if they have to deal with it, if for some reason this rule you're speaking of is not a thing, and they have to deal with it, they'll deal with it and they'll make the space for him because it's freaking Kucherov.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain.
I mean, and at this point, how old's Stammer at this point too? 30.
Don't you dare!
I'm not saying it, but he's the one who goes if Cooch comes back. Who are you taking at this point, Cooch or Stamkos? Right?
Stamkos.
Of the big contracts, he would be the one to make sense for moving on from.
He would be.
But it wouldn't be until after these playoffs.
I think they would they'd be more likely to try and move a couple of their smaller people, I think.
Yes.
Like a package thing with Johnson and
like Killorn. Well, obviously they've tried to move Johnson so many times. I still think he's going to Seattle. I still think he ends up in Seattle.
Yep.
He's from Washington. $5 million is not a terrible hit. He's a veteran presence. He's still a good player. I think he finds a nice home in Seattle.
It's going to be an interesting conversation when that draft comes up because we're going to have some nice speculation picks on that.
It's going to be weird. Yeah. And then let's see. We talked about the Central. We talked about the East. We have not talked about the West.
I haven't really watched any of the West.
I want to say something.
It's Vegas and Colorado, right?
Yes, but the LA Kings have been on a tear recently. That's a surprise.
They have been doing things.
Wrote that down, Mike. Yeah. They currently sit just outside of a playoff spot, and they are tied with the Colorado Avalanche with 21 points.
They do have 2 more games played than them.
Yes.
But still, this is not what we thought that LA would do.
Yeah, very surprising. I guess both goaltenders I've seen have been playing pretty well.
Yeah, Quick's been good.
Yeah.
He's back?
I know a couple weeks back I saw he got his 53rd career shutout. I think did we talk about that last week?
No.
I don't think we talked about it on the podcast, but I think we did talk about it at some point because I remember.
When that happened, I didn't realize he had I was like, shit, that's actually a lot. And I looked it up. I think it was like something like 25th all time, somewhere around there. Which that's not nothing. So good on John Quick. Yeah. He's got 2 cups too. So I guess he probably already knows
he's probably good. He could retire and be fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Vasi got 23 and leads the Tampa franchise now, I believe.
Wow. Yeah. Damn. Impressive.
That's right.
Who's he taking over from?
Hobby Bull.
It had to be Habibulin. Actually, it might have been Bishop.
Or
Ben Bishop was kind of a beast.
Yeah,
for a couple years
actually.
There. I can't really remember.
Curious.
Yeah, look that up.
It was probably Cabby Bullen because he was there longer. Like Bishop.
Hey,
what do you have? 4 seasons?
Habibulin.
Whatever.
Let's see. I don't know how, dude. I was so young when Habibulin was there, but it was so I don't really remember. Like that was like 2004-ish, so I was 7.
I just remember playing NHL like on the not the Xbox, on the PlayStation. Cabby Bullen was OP.
Ben Bishop Hansen. I think it was Ben Bishop.
Yeah, I knew.
Really?
He had, it is. It's Ben Bishop. He had 17. Habibulin for you, Mike.
There we go.
Had 14.
Wow, so Vasi's just smoking him.
Yeah.
He also has a little bit. He has a more defensively responsible team around him right now.
Yeah.
Than Bishop. When Bishop was there, they were just the high flying score 300+ goals a season.
Yeah.
And don't
like you
let the other people score more.
We'll score 7.
Yeah.
Win the Atlantic or be first in the Atlantic and then shit the bed in the first round.
No, that was Vasilevsky was there.
Conference finals.
Dude, they had a string of they made 4.
That many?
They made 4 conference finals in 6 years.
That's not bad.
Holy
shit.
This last time reaching the conference final was their 4th in 6 years. They just couldn't.
You
pull
spoiled
it out.
motherfucker. You got that many conference finals and a cup already, and 2 really in your time as watching as a fan.
I don't
remember the first one.
I watched it. I remember the celebration, but I don't remember much other than that. But yeah.
Yeah, Mike. That was the first Stanley Cup.
Meanwhile, I just get an antique.
I remember.
At least you get something, Ben.
The 04 one.
So yep, the Tampa. So I started. The reason I got into playing goalie, like street hockey goalie, was because of.
Ooh, nice. Yeah. That's right,
yeah.
Habibulin.
Yep.
I don't know what you mean, Nick. The Habs have been nothing but mediocre since 1993. What do you mean? What do you mean?
At least you have some championships to the name of the Canadians.
Nobody fucking cares about those anymore. Or if you do, you're dumb because it was What it
a long
was.
time
I
ago.
mean, okay. Yes, history. The history is awesome. It's a very cool history of players.
You got the
Habs
most of
have
anybody.
An insane amount of superstars, but
Oh.
no Habs fan cares about those championships anymore.
Real quick though, real quick, an interesting little tidbit I saw on the NHL Instagram account. 2 of our teams are have the same amount for goals scored by a single player in a season. Would you like to guess? Hazard a guess. 2 of our teams, our 4 teams.
Say the Islanders.
What is the record?
It's no, it's not a record. It's like the most goals scored by one player in one season.
Like currently or just all time?
All time.
Most goals scored by one player in a season.
In one season, yep.
Who on the Habs might that be?
Who could it be?
What do we have to
I don't even know if it would be. I know it's not the Senators, I'm guessing.
I remember. Well, no, it doesn't have to be a high amount. It's just
what is the criteria?
Oh, God damn it! All right, so
I'm confused.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Of our 4 teams,
yeah,
two of our teams have the same number of goals scored by one person in one season, and that's the highest amount for that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Do you want me to just say who it is?
Yes, because I'm not going to do this.
It's the Canadiens and the Lightning.
Okay.
So Stamkos had 60 goals in one season, early in his career, and I want to say it was the Canadiens. There was 2, and I want to say one of them was Steve Shutt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that was one of them.
A lot of good players.
But yeah, I was surprised that it was only 60 because there were a bunch of others that were like 76, like Teemu Selanne, and I was like, Jesus. That was his rookie year too, wasn't it?
It's because the Habs, when they were at their best, were always earlier versions of what the Lightning are now. They just had everybody scoring at all times. So like there was never really that much of a chance for like to have a player with a 70 goal year because they never were ever really relying on a player that much in their best years.
I see.
Very long behind them, but
yeah, that was an interesting
modern Habs dynasties, basically.
Sweet. All right, so I can expect another couple here.
Well, the problem is you have the downside of having about 15 to 20 more teams than any of those Habs teams had to play against.
And a salary cap too. That wasn't a thing back then, was it?
So no, it wasn't.
Okay.
So it probably won't be like 5 in a row, but it wouldn't shock me if. I mean, you had a cup and 4 conference finals and a cup final, and who knows, maybe you might get one more. Like I think that's like that. You compare that to like also the Blackhawks with the 2010, 2013, 2015. That was the right.
Sure.
I think so. Yeah. I think so.
I think those kind of like playoff successes in a row, that's like your modern day versions of dynasties now. You're never going to get a 4-cup, 5-cup in a row team like the teams, Habs, like the Oilers, like the Islanders had a 4 in a row.
Yeah, that was in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Early 80s, yeah.
I mean, who knows? This is a very weird sport.
It is.
But it's very, very unlikely that's ever going to happen again. So it's going to be looking at things like what Tampa has done, although it might help if they had another cup thrown in there. And then what Chicago? I mean, they had so many chances.
It's like Chicago and LA. I feel like those were the closest.
And their 2 and that quickly was pretty good, and they had some pretty in Pittsburgh. Yeah, like you're gonna look at the Chicago, the Pittsburgh, the Tampa, maybe, and the LA.
If they win one this year,
like sort of like the modern-ish dynasty or dynasties-ish, dynasty adjacent. Like it's like
I love that adjacent.
It's like as close as you're probably gonna get because it's like it is an insane amount of playoff success for a very, very long time that the Lightning have had for as like yes, you can laugh at the second round exits or even the conference round, like in the chokes in those conference finals, but very few teams have gotten to that many conference finals. Like
especially
it's still
in
insane
that short of a span. So that wraps that up. Let's touch on fantasy real quick before we wrap it up, though, because we have not touched on that yet, and I would like to.
Not
because anything really interesting happened, but because I like talking about it. It's interesting to me.
Eric, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, sorry. Can I interject one? Sorry, I know we wrapped up the West.
Oh no, just yell it out.
But so second in the West right now are the Minnesota Wild.
Yes,
they've been doing stuff too.
Yes.
It's been fun.
They've quietly been doing stuff. And
Mike,
I thought we were
gonna do a surprising.
Yeah, we are gonna actually. I forgot about that.
You want to do that before or after?
Let's do it right now. Let's do it right now. So speaking of the Western Conference, gentlemen, I would like to know who you all think is like underperforming and who is overperforming, if any.
I'll go first. I don't particularly see an underperforming. We didn't really expect much out of Anaheim, San Jose, or Arizona. I think overperforming is probably the Wild, to be honest. I didn't think that they were going to be quite as good as they are. They're not bad by any means, but I didn't think that they were going to be that good.
Didn't think they would be there, yeah. My picks, my overperformer is LA right now. LA is having a year for what we thought. Stuff. Like, because they were in shambles the last few years. And, like, now they're doing pretty good. And my underperformer is Colorado. Colorado is way too good of a team to be 10-6-1.
Like, yes, that's 10 again this year, though.
Like, especially that's 10-7, but like,
they have played a lot against Vegas. Their schedule has been very Vegas.
That is very true.
So there is definitely that. Like, they're gonna get a chance to get more games in again. Well, I honestly don't know what they've played that well yet. But I would imagine they're still going to get a chance to get a lot of games in against, like, the San Jose's and the Anaheims.
That's true.
And it could balance out. It has been pretty Vegas heavy. But, no, it's definitely weird that they're fourth.
Yeah.
It's strange.
That'll change quickly. If what Ben's saying is actually the case, and they have played not primarily, but heavily against Vegas so far.
They've had a bunch of Vegas games, yeah.
They're playing Arizona tonight.
Once they have to play Anaheim, they'll pick it up.
Oh, actually,
now I'm curious. What is?
Do you guys remember that Zegras penalty shot? Oh,
yeah, that was pretty
dear.
Nice.
Thank God they brought him.
But yeah, like they won against Arizona last night. They lost to Minnesota 2 nights before that. But then the 4 games in a row before that were against Vegas.
Mm.
And then
one of those was the Tahoe game.
Beat Minnesota in 1 game. They beat Minnesota in 2 out of 3 games before that. And they have 2 wins against San Jose. They have 2 wins against Anaheim.
Okay.
All right, but 4 of those games have been up against Vegas.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, I guess tough. I'm just sort of surprised to see them that low.
I know, it definitely doesn't make sense.
Like, McKinnon was out. I think Landeskog's been out.
McKinnon was out. Makar was out. Freaking all my dudes were out.
So that's
Makar's out again.
But Eric, what do you think? Underperformer or overperformer for Western?
I'm in agreement with you, Mike. So LA is my overperformer. So I banked on them. I forget what episode, but I was like, oh, they're going to be the 4th spot. I think they were my pick to sneak in. I think.
I remember you saying that.
But they're definitely, I don't know. They have so many young guns, and like, again, goaltending there. I don't think like Jonathan Quick and Cal Peterson, like they're good, but I don't think they could. I don't think maybe if they split time they could.
I disagree. I mean, like
something, but
I know Quick had a couple like off years the last couple of years, but he's still good. Like
he's still good. He's not consistent.
He's a good goalie.
He's a good goalie. He's not consistent. I wouldn't say he's consistent. If you look at the Kings' last few seasons,
kind of like yeah.
I do think
say that a lot about veteran goalies. Like, look at what's happening with Price. Same things with Holtby. Yeah.
As this season goes on, I think other than the Canadian division, the Western is the one that's the most wide open.
The most hotly contested.
Because St. Louis doesn't seem to be as like dominant as they were.
They
lost a bunch against Arizona. Yeah. Like, they haven't seemed as dominant as we expected. Colorado hasn't seemed as dominant as we expected. Minnesota's up in second for some reason.
It's
Vegas
are the best.
The fucking wild retro, reverse retro. Oof.
What'd you say, Nick?
Who are they running in goal now? It's not Dubnyk still, is it?
No, he
Cam
went to
Talbot.
San Jose.
Oh.
Cam Talbot, I believe, is their starter. I don't know who their backup is. He's been doing things.
Wait, that's new, isn't it?
Yeah, that was new this year. He's
That's
one of those guys where you're
is.
just like,
That's what it is.
Where'd they go?
It's old Cam coming in to the rescue.
Let me see.
Anyway, Ben.
Oh, they also have Andrew Hammond.
Before we, the Hamburglar.
Way, yeah.
They got super excited.
And Alex Stalock. I think Alex Stalock is actually the one they're primarily using as their backup. But they
Before we go down rabbit holes here on these teams.
Yeah, let's stay on topic
for Western Conference.
Wait, one last Cam Talbot thing. 926 this year.
Nice.
But my guys, what am I saying? My underperformer, overperformer. I gotta get back to the standings. Underperformer, I'm gonna say Colorado for all of the reasons we already said.
Yep.
And overperformer, I'm gonna say Minnesota, just because they are on a pretty good run right now, but I do not think they are sustainable.
Where do we want to go next, Mike?
I see. I'm scrolling up. Let's do the East.
I'll go first again.
Yeah, go for it.
Underperformer, easy, Buffalo.
We
didn't think that they were going to be like great, but I also didn't think that they were going to be on the bad level of Ottawa.
True.
Like even Detroit's playing better than them points wise, anyway. So I would say Buffalo and the Rangers underperforming.
That's mine. Is the Rangers.
Overperforming is definitely the Bruins, because we talked at the beginning of the season that there was no way they were going to be good again. They are.
Dude, I didn't
they're just
think
good.
Obviously. We see that now.
They lost a lot of guys. Like, I don't know.
They lost. I just didn't see them. I didn't see Boston being in second, with Philly and Washington. I didn't see Boston being up there.
But that's so tight too.
Like,
look at the points there. Right there, it's 26, and then the Bruins and Islanders are 24. The Flyers are 23. The Penguins are 23. That's so tight. So in the top
close.
5. It's gonna change. But.
Yeah, I definitely didn't think the Rangers were going to do this bad, but here we are. Eric, what about you?
So I'm going to start off. My overperformer is Pittsburgh, because when I look at I know they're Pittsburgh, but I just I know that you have Sidney Crosby, but what have other than Crosby, what have their superstars really done, and their goaltending? I mean, I guess they've kind of hung in this year, but I don't know. Pittsburgh, you would think after they get rid of pieces, they're going to be average, but they just manage to hang on all the time. So by no means am I saying, oh, they're bad. I think they're overperforming. I really do.
Okay, I see that.
To be fair to Pittsburgh, they have not gotten. They're just starting to get help from Evgeny Malkin. He was not doing anything to start the year, and he's actually started to do some things now. I know, because I've been getting points from that fucker. Took him 2 months to do a single goddamn thing, but but I did kind of drop him and pick him up again after.
Yeah, Eric, who's your underperformer?
My underperformer, I have to go with the Rangers too. Honestly, I really thought they'd bring all this offense to the table. And I was again as an Islanders fan, I was the rivalry will be reignited. But they're
now losing, and obviously now losing Panarin's not going to help that.
So those are my two.
How about you, Benny?
Let me bring up the East again. Sorry, I had the Habs game on.
Keep them all up. We're gonna run through the rest.
Give me 10 minutes, Ben. Give me 10 minutes of no game.
I would say overperformer. See, the top 4 makes sense to me.
They do. So
I don't know that anybody's really overperforming.
This was the hard one for me.
This division's just kind of, the spread just looks
It is how we expected it.
I know from what I've been watching of Washington, they're definitely, I mean, it's hard to argue with 26 points and they're top of the division, but they've been kind of barely hanging on for a lot of games and just kind of eking out games. They've not been having an easy time of it, and I think it's part of that's just because Ovechkin hasn't been scoring at the pace he should be.
As he should be. If you want to see 39, he shouldn't be scoring at his old pace.
He needs 40 goals if he wants to friggin' get that record.
I hit the way we expect, just from what we expect out of Ovechkin. I don't know. But I guess I'll say Washington. Maybe, I don't know. I don't really have any confidence in saying overperform for this one.
Yeah.
But underperformer, I'm gonna have to say Buffalo. Like, what the hell? There's
really
no reason
you
should be 8th place in that division.
Yeah.
You could do things. You could
Go
get
on,
out of some of
Eric,
these
Google.
teams.
Put a
if
better
you could
team
just,
on the ice.
With Olmark as well, doing what he's doing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
well,
I think I have to go with them.
Let's go up to the Central. I'll start this one.
Hold up. You didn't pick yours for that one.
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Yeah, Boston's my overperformer, and the Rangers are my underperformer.
Oh.
I stuffed them in there in between you guys because I agreed with you guys. So my overperformer in the Central Division at this point is Chicago.
Agreed.
Why are they in third?
Yep.
When did that happen? And then I guess the honorable mention is Florida, because Jesus.
Yeah, I did not expect that.
Yeah. And then
all.
my underperformer for this one is Smashville. I don't know why. I had high hopes for Smashville. I had them making the playoffs. I think that I was wrong. From looking right now, I appear to be incorrect.
It's not looking good.
Yeah. What about you, Ben? What are you thinking? Any surprising teams?
Nashville is definitely surprising to me in the sense that I didn't think they were going to be awesome, but I did not think they were going to be this.
Yeah.
Underperforming. I think Columbus still has more to give.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with them for underperforming.
Okay.
I think they still need to get their feet under them, because I still think there's more out of that team. Yeah, they played a lot of games, and they've only won 8 out of 22 games, and they're still somehow in 5th place. So like, you're still in a spot to maybe do something, because
they definitely can.
They have 5 overtime losses. That's a lot of. I mean, I'm not going to complain about loser points right now. That's the only reason the Habs are remotely relevant. But I'm going to go with Columbus for underperforming. And I'm going to go with Florida for overperforming, because I don't see them sustaining this.
Man,
granted, I haven't watched. You actually
from
watched
watching,
them. Are they actually just good?
I think they're just good.
Do I need to get rid of my Florida Panthers, or just perennially underperformers?
Well, no, let's not say that yet. But dude, they're good. I'm going to offer you some fantasy counseling. Go snag Carter Verhaeghe if you can.
Okay, I will
passes
do that.
to Barkov a lot.
Because I actually don't know how many East Division players I have. I don't think I have any.
Okay.
Or Central, rather.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's Central.
Rather. But
Eric,
still, I don't think I have any.
What are you thinking, Eric?
I'm in agreement. I think there's a split between multiple people, but for my overperformer, Chicago, definitely. Again, they're one of those teams, right? Who's their starting goalie? I don't even know.
It's something with an L. He's
they
have
Malcolm Subban. I guess he's one.
No, that's
he's
in
not
Chicago.
Been the one.
He's in Chicago.
He isn't. That's who he's talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Florida. I'm sorry.
No, it's something. Is it Delia? Is it Colin Delia that's doing all the good stuff?
No, they had a guy come in that's been.
It was
doing
something
things.
with an L, wasn't it? It's like Lankinen or
Lankinen or something like that.
Lankinen,
I think Lankinen.
Yeah, and then it's Chris Drieger has been doing all this stuff in Florida.
And for a
couple of no-name guys that we didn't know before this year. Like, I'm wondering how many of those kind of situations we're going to see before the end of this season, of just guys that come out and just do some crazy shit out of nowhere and just completely change how divisions play out. But
yeah. So that's your overperformer, Chicago.
Yes, and my underperformer is Nashville as well. I don't know.
It's weird.
You look at their team. And they have like a decent team again on paper, right? Like, they haven't really lost any of their stars. They still have Pecorine and UC Saros.
They have the reigning Norris Trophy winner.
Yeah.
That is the worst. How that dude won the Norris Trophy over Victor Hedman, I do not know. Or like
But-
Seth Jones.
Yeah.
Or wait, was it Seth Jones that had a really good year?
Seth
Nah,
Jones
somebody
always
had a
has
really good year and they gave it to Yossi instead, and I was like, what the what? But yeah, that's
Sure,
the
Yossi's playing like shit this year too.
He is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say that in a sense of goals scored and assists, but
Yeah, well, he hasn't been doing much on D either, clearly.
I mean, not
but
much
yeah,
has
Nick,
been going right.
Nick,
for
what do you
Nashville.
think? What do you think about this? One?
I'll agree with overperformers of Florida and Chicago. Absolutely, I didn't think Chicago was going to do anything this year. I thought they were falling apart from what it sounded like at the beginning of the season. Underperforming isn't. I'm not gonna disagree with you with Nashville, but I'm saying Dallas. Like
right now,
Oh,
yes.
that's true.
Right now, yes.
I mean, Dallas is in a tough spot right now. If they had all their guys back, maybe I wouldn't say that. But Dallas they're solely relying on Kudobin, which they can't do clearly because of what happened tonight.
Yeah,
He
And-
can do some things sometimes, but he's not
the
somebody you
problem
should
is
he's
they
not
rest it
also
all on.
all season long right now. So they've had at one point they lost Jamie Benn, so they were without Sagan, Ben,
Sagan's
and
been
Raju at one point all throughout
Yep.
the season. So
those are their three
Ben,
biggest scorers.
thankfully Ben's back for him now, but Sagan's still out. Raju's out on IR. Ben Bishop's still not back. Three main key players on that team are not playing and haven't been playing and won't be playing for another month
At least.
at least.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Especially considering they just
gonna
they just
I
lost in the
they're gonna have to
Stanley Cup.
sneak it. I think if they make it, they're sneaking in on that fourth spot because that's gonna be it's gonna be tough to leg out Columbus, I think.
plus
Because I don't see those top three changing. I think you're gonna see those. Tampa Bay is gonna. I think Tampa Bay is gonna win the division, and I don't think Carolina and I don't think Florida are going anywhere. So that fourth spot's the one that's gonna take it, and
Yeah.
I don't think Dallas. If they play the way they're playing now for the rest of the season, there's no way they make it. Obviously.
Also considering it's what is it? It was like 40 something games in 70 something days or something. They got a compact schedule.
They do have a lot of games to play still compared to everybody
Yep.
else, though.
I agree.
That's
They
their
only have
one-
16. Yep.
All right,
That's their one
first
benefit.
I'm gonna
but
cut.
They gotta
I'm gonna,
win some of them.
I'm gonna cut you boys off because we have one final division, and then we can wrap this up. It wasn't as short as I was trying to make it, but that's okay. So yeah, the Scotia North. What?
I'll make it quick. I'll go first.
Go for it.
Underperformer, easy Calgary. They should be way better than what they are. Their forwards are not playing or are not scoring as they should be. Ben knows that with Kachuk. I have Lindholm and Johnny Hockey on my teams. They are not playing good. And they're playing okay. I say not good relatively, but
They're
and then
500 right now.
Markstrom's not great either so far this season. He's had some shaky outings. Overperforming. I think Toronto might be overperforming a little bit. Like we expected them to be good.
I don't know about this.
I don't know about 34 points. I thought they were going to be like close with Edmonton for the whole season, but it's not looking like they're going to be because
As of
they
right
are
now.
losing. They're losing once in a while, and two of those losses are to the Senators, which is funny.
It is very funny.
Yeah.
My underperformer is the Couve. I did not think they were gonna shit the bed this bad, and they have, very hard. And then my overperformer is Winnipeg. Winnipeg is doing quite well.
Mhm.
They are 12-6-1, 25 points third in the division. It's pretty good. I didn't expect it.
Hellebuck is not hella yuck.
Hellebuck is keeping his Vezina form. I was okay with Vasi not getting the Vezina for Hellebuck. I understand that.
He did some things last
Yeah.
year. Like
he
he's
did
the
do a
only
lot.
reason the Jets were ever in
Yeah.
any conversation last
Yeah.
season. He was big.
Plus he's American, so booyah.
There you go.
USA. Ow. All right. Our resident Canadian. What do you think?
As underperformer, I'm gonna say my Habs.
Really?
Yeah, because there's
After
no
the last couple weeks.
friggin' way. I watched. I mean, yes, a lot of the games they played were against Vancouver, but they also played a really strong offensive game against Toronto in that opening loss. They lost in overtime, but like it was a really close game.
That was a close game.
And Calgary, against Calgary, they had one really strong game they won, and then another one where they played pretty strong offensively. They just got fucking shut out by Markstrom. Like he was just good. It was like a goalie was good one game. They just had their way with Vancouver, and then they're 2-1 against Edmonton. Like I watched them do all these things and then just shit the bed for the last 2 weeks. I don't think they are probably as high as people were seeing them as at the beginning after the first 2 weeks. I also know they're not as bad as they have been for the last 2 weeks. They can't be this shit.
You don't think they're not the last 2 weeks, yeah.
Like they can't be this shit.
The last 10.
Like I don't think they're this bad. I don't know what it takes for them to get out of this. I'm still waiting to see that. But I don't think they're this bad.
New coach.
Hopefully.
Who are you surprised with how high they are? I guess right now it could be either of those.
The thing is, I do think Toronto being up there isn't that. I mean, okay, yeah, that's surprising. Like, them being 34 points already is kind of like they're playing really well.
They have 4 losses.
Yeah, they're playing really well.
Yep.
I don't know that anybody's really overperforming because when you look at games played, yeah, Edmonton's 6 points up on the Habs, but they've also played 4 more games. Like after Toronto,
that's why I was looking at Winnipeg.
Yeah, after Toronto, I think I did not expect the Canadian division to be this much of a wash. Although, did I? Actually, I think I did. I think I said it was going to kind of be pretty open for like the back end of the division.
Yeah.
And it's proving to be that. Like, it's Edmonton at 28, but with 4 games in hand on both of Winnipeg and Montreal, which are at 25 and 22. And then you got Calgary at 20. Like, I don't know. The Canadian division is going to be weird to watch for the end.
Senators are going to make a run and sneak in for that.
So in conclusion, you don't have an overperformer.
I don't, because there's nobody overperforming. Like Toronto's playing well, and they probably should. Like they're finally doing the thing. Like I didn't think they were gonna, but they're finally doing the thing. And everybody else is just kind of.
They're just doing it. All right.
I mean, actually, Edmonton's been sneaky good. They've won 8. Before tonight they had been 8-2 in their last 10. And then they lost to Toronto tonight. So Edmonton, maybe I'll say, is overperformer because they've had a pretty good streak.
Eric,
there you go.
We'll finish it up with you.
Okay, I'm in agreement as an underperformer with Ben. Actually, the Habs are my underperformer. I don't know. I just think again when you see like what they did in the offseason to kind of build like a roster with some depth. Okay. Aside from like I know you have defensive struggles going on there, Ben. But
I would argue not if you just shifted them around. But.
So exactly. So I think if that team that the Habs have is used the right way, can totally do some damage. So I think they're underperforming right now. And for an overperformer, I kind of wanted to say Edmonton because like when you look at them, it's just like McDavid and Draisaitl. But I feel like the way the divisions are set up, right? If they're just playing within the Canadian division, those guys can do like serious damage all throughout the season. So they're kind of where I would expect them to be with those players. So I'm going to say Winnipeg as well.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's it.
All right. Well, we hope you all enjoyed this episode.
How long did it end up being? I'm curious.
The same as normal.
Like an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half. But yeah, we will see you guys next week. We will see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in to this shortened version of the podcast. But yeah, we'll see you next week. Stay safe. And yeah, that's it.
Bye.
Oh wait, see you in March.
Oh yeah, see you in March.
The Coronaversary.
Yeah. Well, happy 1 year Corona. Suck my balls.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
All right. Peace out, everybody.